No fish, no whales, no coral reefs, no sharks, no plankton. The ocean, dead. It sounds like a nightmare, but what if it happens tomorrow? If every marine organism vanished at once, whether through an unknown pathogen, a catastrophic toxin, or abrupt ecological collapse, the oceans would become a graveyard of floating and sinking carcasses. Decomposition on a global scale would trigger a biochemical chain reaction, releasing vast amounts of methane, ammonia, and hydrogen sulfide. These gases would accumulate not only in the water, but eventually seep into the atmosphere, contaminating coastlines, suffocating nearby marine habitats, and rendering once breathable air toxic in some regions. This mass mortality would create vast anoxic zones where oxygen levels drop to zero, killing any remaining microbial or residual life. Roughly 3 billion people rely on seafood as a daily source of protein, and the complete collapse of marine food chains would trigger famine and economic devastation, particularly in coastal nations. Fishing industries would vanish, and with them, millions of livelihoods. But even more concerning is the collapse of phytoplankton, microscopic photosynthetic organisms that produce between 50% and 70% of Earth's oxygen. While atmospheric oxygen levels wouldn't plummet overnight, within months, the absence of this replenishment would begin to manifest as mild hypoxia, especially in urban areas with high pollution. Respiratory illness rates would rise. The most vulnerable, the elderly, infants, and those with lung conditions would suffer first. Ocean life plays a critical role in carbon sequestration. Phytoplankton absorbs CO2 through photosynthesis, and larger organisms help sequester carbon deep into the ocean when they die. Without them, the ocean's capacity to act as a carbon sink disappears. Atmospheric CO2 levels would rise more rapidly, amplifying global warming. Sea surface temperatures would climb, leading to accelerated ice melt in the polar regions, rising sea levels, and increased frequency of extreme weather events. Monsoon systems, trade winds, and rainfall patterns would destabilize, leading to intensified droughts, unpredictable storms, and widespread agricultural collapse. Not over decades, but potentially within years. Entire sectors of the global economy would unravel. Commercial fishing, aquaculture, marine tourism, biotechnology based on marine compounds, all would cease. Coastal communities would be hardest hit, facing toxic waters, job losses, and migration pressures. Food insecurity would fuel riots and civil unrest. Governments, overwhelmed by ecological and economic crisis, would turn inward. Border controls would tighten, and conflict over basic necessities, air, food, water, would become more likely. As the ocean systems disintegrate, so too would international cooperation and global trade. Beyond the physical, economic, and climatic impacts lies a deeper human cost. The ocean is woven into our myths, our music, our identities. With it dead, humanity would suffer a psychological wound that no technology could repair. Future generations would grow up having never seen living seas, never heard whale songs, or watched coral reefs pulse with color. The world would feel smaller, colder, and emotionally emptier. Cultural trauma, rooted in the loss of nature itself, would lead to a rise in depression, anxiety, and existential grief on a global scale. Eventually, small pockets of humanity might adapt through artificial ecosystems, oxygen production machines, and controlled environments. But such survival would be sterile, fragile, and profoundly disconnected from the natural world. Civilization would not collapse all at once, but it would lose vitality, meaning, and resilience. What begins as the death of the ocean ends as the slow extinction of a species that forgot it was part of the same system it destroyed.